Hi everybody, my name's Andrew and today I'm driving a 2019 Volkswagen Jetta GLI Autobahn. If you guys saw my Passat video last year, I'm back with my friend Evan because he traded the Passat for this, and naturally I have to check it out. So today I'm going to give you guys an in-depth walk around of it, tell you a few things I like and dislike about it, and also take it for a quick drive and tell you what it's like. So let's go. Starting with the exterior, the GLI distinguishes itself from the regular Jetta with subtle black and red accents, mainly on the front, as well as other little badging details throughout. You also get 18-inch alloy wheels with bigger brakes behind them. In fact, these are the same brakes as the Golf R. This particular car is finished in pure gray, which in my opinion is the best color for the GLI. And overall, the GLI visually is one of my favorite sport compacts. I think it was the straight pipes that said it's an appropriate amount of looks for the speed, and I fully agree with that. Around back, it's more of the same, but honestly, again, I think that's a good thing. In fact, the only way you could probably tell it's a GLI from the back is the little badge right there, or maybe the diffuser if you're really paying attention. I have to say, one of the things I like about the back of the GLI is the amber LED turn signals. They actually took these away in 2020, I think, or 21, but either way, the one thing that's annoying about them though is the front turn signals are not LED. In fact, they're the only things on the car, on the outside anyway, that aren't LED. Come on, Volkswagen. And actually, now that I think about it, you don't get fog lights on the GLI either, which you do on the GTI. Also annoying back here is the backup camera for two reasons. Number one, as you might be able to see, it's not centered, which does bug me, but also, unlike the other Mk7 platform vehicles, GTI, R, All-Track, etc., it's not hidden behind the VW badge, which not only is it just kind of a neat quirk, it also helps keep the camera clean. Hopping inside the GLI, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that I've heard a lot of people say that this interior is either too boring or too cheap, and granted there are some things in here that are not super visually enticing, like the door cards and the door handles. They don't look or feel very nice, but I mean, overall, this is not an Audi. This is way better than the Mk6 Jetta, first of all. And second of all, it's even better than Evan's old Passat. You have a good level of technology in here, which I'll get to in a second. These seats are super comfortable. They have plenty of adjustment. They're even cooled, which is awesome. And overall, it's not a bad place to be. It's not a luxury car, but at the same time, it's not gonna be. So even though the interior materials may not be anything to write home about, there are still lots of nice touches in here. One of them is the technology that you get. Of course, you do have Apple CarPlay, which is pretty standard nowadays. It is still a wired connection, but the Volkswagen native infotainment system is also really good. It's really responsive. You have physical controls for things that matter, like the volume and the climate. And obviously the big thing in here is the digital gauge cluster, because this is something that the Mk7 GTI does not have. This digital gauge cluster is probably my favorite thing about the interior of the GLI, aside from the cooled seats, of course. It's super configurable for one thing. You have a couple different views here you can see. And the interesting thing about it though is you have some of the controls on the steering wheel, so you can change the view like I was just doing, or change the style, I should say. And then you can also go side to side and up and down within the center menu from the steering wheel. But if you want to change what's in the gauges, in the center of the gauges, you have to use the infotainment screen. I don't know why they decided to do it like that. They probably just ran out of space on the steering wheel, honestly. But either way, it's a really cool thing to have, and not something you would expect on a car at this price point. Of course, you also have all the active safety features that you would expect on a car these days. Although one weird omission is there's no adaptive cruise control. For some reason, VW didn't add that until 2021. You also don't have factory navigation in the GLI in the US, which honestly doesn't bug me that much. I just use Apple CarPlay or my phone maps or whatever. most of the time anyway, but you don't get the map view in the gauge cluster because of that, which I think is a neat thing to have. You also have really nice customizable ambient lighting in here, and there is more ambient lighting in here than there is in the GTI, although I can't really show you that during the day, obviously. What I can show you is the sunroof shade. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but it's actually just mesh. It's not completely solid, so annoyingly there is still a little bit of light and heat that can come through that. Another thing that's annoying, actually, that I didn't know about before I got in the car is the armrest does not ratchet or slide like it does in the Golf. Although you do have these little kickstand pieces, I guess, if you want to raise it up like a tiny bit more. I don't know. But by far, the worst thing about this interior is the volume knob. And other Volkswagens have this too, but the little power symbol there rotates with the knob. So basically, if you're OCD and you want to just leave it straight all the time, which I think a lot of us are, you just can't use that knob. You just have to use the steering wheel controls. The Jetta has a slightly longer wheelbase than the Golf, and one of the benefits of that is rear seat space. This is actually almost a mid-size car at this point. As you can see, I have the seat adjusted to where I would drive, and I have plenty of space for my legs back here. Another benefit, of course, is trunk space. It's not the biggest trunk in the compact segment, but it is on the larger end. And it is actually closer to what you would expect from a Camry than from a traditional compact car. All right, so driving the GLI. I sound like Doug DeMuro when I say that. I'm gonna start off with the stats right off the bat here. Same engine as the GTI, of course, so 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 228 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque, and in this application, it's made it to a 7-speed dual-clutch DSG. I have to say, this DSG is way smoother than the 6-speed that's in the GTI, or at least the last GTI that I drove anyway. I don't know if that's just because it's the 7-speed, or if it's just tuned more for comfort in this, but either way, it is way smoother. And another thing I hate about it is the fact that even in full sport manual, it still auto upshifts. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. There's no way to get around it. And honestly, that really bugs me more than anything, because for one thing, it just makes it one step further away from being a true manual. But also, too, it makes it really hard to launch this car, because we were just trying to do some launch runs, some 0 to 60 times with the Draggy a minute ago, and we could not get a clean run. We could not get a very good run because of that. Obviously, handling is one of this car's strong suits. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I do have to say, though, when you're pushing it absolutely to the limit, while it is very good, I can't help but think wider tires might make it a little bit better. This car only has 225s from the factory, and the Civic Si and the Elantra N both have wider tires than this. As you may be able to hear, there is a lot of fake sound going on in here as well. That's because I'm in sport mode at the moment, and the good thing about this versus the GTI actually is that when you put it in normal mode, it actually tones down the fake sound. The GTI, you have to go in with OBD11 or simply unplug the fake sound thing if you want to get rid of it. So that is a bonus, although the fake sound in sport mode is really overbearing. It's really too much. So if you're going to be buying one of these, chances are it's probably going to be your daily driver. So how does this car fare on a day-to-day basis? Well, to be honest, the ride is a little bit rough for my liking, which is surprising because I normally like a really firm ride. But over harsher pavement, honestly, this is just too much for it to be comfortable on a daily basis. I don't know how shaky the camera's been throughout this part, but if it has been shaky, that's why. Another factor of a daily driver is fuel economy. As we've proven with various mileage tests that I've done with the GTI, this engine is very efficient on the highway. and I would expect this thing to be no different. I think we averaged 37 or 38 with the GTI. I don't really remember at this point. But thus far, Evan told me he's been averaging about 27 combined on mixed driving, which is also really good. And for comparison, that's about the same as what I got in my 330 wagon as well, which was also a 2-liter 4-cylinder. And the best part is this will run on 87, because anything, I believe 2016 and up with the EA888 in it will run on 87. 2015 got a little bit screwed here in the US, but it is very important with the way gas prices are right now. So I guess the question is this the best sport compact? Well, technically yes, I think it is. My favorite regular compact is still the Mazda 3, specifically with the turbo and all-wheel drive, just because it's a really nice car and it is a lot of fun for what it is. But this is my favorite sport compact over, say, a Civic Si or an Elantra N. Of course, they all have their ups and downs, but personally, this is the one that I would have. I'm going to wrap this one up here. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you go check out Evan's channel at the link in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up or consider subscribing for plenty more content to come.